Nice shirt, Mitch.
Yeah, you got the Grand Prix shirt on, Mitch.
Nice. No kidding.
Montreal Grand Prix.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
It's a
Still
vintage
waiting.
one too, hey?
Yeah, vintage, man. Got the red collar.
Nice.
I wonder.
Got the Ferrari right on the chest.
Oh yeah.
That was a nice. That was a nice
I'll
pic
stand
of.
it up for you guys. Yeah, it looks good, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, it does.
That was a nice picture of Ronaldo having a little meet and greet with the boys at Scuderia Ferrari.
That was great to see. I loved it.
He's just like, that's the only F1 team Ronaldo will associate with.
Only one. I'm not surprised. Maybe Alfa Romeo, maybe.
I think I remember him a couple of years ago getting like there's a big Instagram picture and it was him and Lewis. So am I just thinking of shit? I think
no, probably. You might be right. I think he went to one of the races. I forget where it was.
I want to say Monaco.
Yeah. Probably.
Which is fitting because it's the next GP we got coming up on the calendar.
And apparently there's going to be fans there too, which I was kind of surprised, but there's going to be some fans in the stands, which will be cool.
Dude, Monaco can make anything happen.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of money.
They're like, COVID? COVID's not here anymore. No.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah, I think they had the Formula E Grand Prix this past weekend there.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of it. It was just on, so I turned it on. It's so strange because they're just like meow.
It's the sound, man. It just throws me off.
And like there was an instant where like going into one of the tight hairpin corners, the cars were just like on top of each other.
Yeah.
And like body parts are falling off and then they're just like still driving. I'm like, wait, what?
Dude, nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty wild. It's a little different.
I had somebody giving me like, not a hard time, but like just kind of throwing some shots at like F1 about, the fuel consumption and like how bad it is for the environment. I was like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah.
Like, do you realize what goes on in the world? And you're like getting mad at F1 for the fact that they race cars with fuel.
Absolutely out to lunch.
Do you drive a car every day?
And it just makes me like, I don't like that sound of the Formula E. Like it just takes away from the whole thing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It kind of just takes
Formula One has like done a lot to make it as like green as possible. And it's not like they're putting like different fuels burn differently. And it's not like they're putting crap fuel in those cars. They're putting like the best fuel you can. So it's probably the cleanest fuel you could possibly be using. So,
yeah.
And I just saw like recently they've added to the parts list, like things you can use. So I think you can now like use hemp in F1 parts as well. So they are definitely trying to make it a greener sport for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I thought it was funny. I was kind of like,
yeah.
Well, hold that thought. Speaking of Formula E, it's going to Vancouver.
Yeah.
I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Vancouver is getting it in next year, like next summer, July 2022, False Creek area. So that's going to be pretty dope.
That'd be really cool. Yeah.
We're going,
you got it.
For sure.
We're absolutely going.
Yeah. Boys, I might be home. Who knows?
Let's go.
Love reunion.
No kidding, man. I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the fourth Grand Prix of the year is done. España, Barcelona. It's a track that everyone like looks forward to it, but then it's always kind of a little bit anticlimactic because there's never a ton of passing and I think I was reading up a bunch on it, and it seems like the drivers know the track so well because they put so many laps in on this track that you just don't make mistakes. So the only time there's really opportunity to pass is on that main straight with the DRS.
It's literally the only spot. Pretty much, which is crazy. I saw like the commentators were saying it's like more likely there's more overtakes in Monaco, which is pretty crazy to think about for a city circuit, I was shocked. And I kind of forgot about that for Barcelona, but there ended up being some pretty good battles, and it does just force it into a strategic race, which was fun to watch.
And which it was a completely, I think that strategy won that race, and Mercedes took it over Red Bull once again, not by much, it was like at the end of the day, it was another really close battle, which
Mhm.
we love to see because we want to see this championship fight go right till the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Toto and his team and Lewis, I mean, they got her done once again.
Mhm. It was I feel like I was holding my breath because I stayed up to watch it.
Right.
And I was like, as it was starting, I'm like, oh, I should just go to bed. I'll watch it in the morning. But then like I just stayed up, and the whole time I was just like, oh my goodness, like Lewis was so close to Max, like just like so close that Max would pull, and I'm like, okay. And then he would get so close, and then when he dives into those pits, I was just like, oh my goodness, just like held my breath for 30 more laps.
That was a last ditch effort into the pit lane.
It's crazy. It was like everyone was like, whoa, like it was just like so quick right at the end.
Yeah.
But they've had that planned all along for sure, I would think.
You know.
Yeah.
It paid off for them in the end, obviously.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
I know. And I was thinking, like, as soon as, I don't know, me and Mitch watched it together with our dad, and you know, you see the gap when he comes out of the pits, and you're like, 30 seconds, like it's like, take her home, Max, you know, like
Totally,
you got this, you know, like there's no way he's gonna catch you. And then as the laps go by, you're like, oh, he just took a second and a half on that lap, and
each lap,
and he was taking over a second a lap on each lap, and he passed him way earlier than, I mean, even they suggested or they thought would happen.
Yeah, I think he had 6 laps to go when he got past him.
Yeah. So
which
I mean,
is wild.
Then it makes you think, like, man, like why wouldn't Horner and the Red Bull team pit Max like as soon as that like on that next lap, you know, and then at least they're coming out battling.
Yeah, they might lose track position, but they have the chance to overtake.
Exactly. And you know, if you give Max that chance, he's gonna take the chance.
Oh, for sure.
But I feel like we also don't know like what exactly was, maybe they didn't have the proper tires, like because Lewis goes back on a medium set of tires, and maybe the Red Bull car, maybe they didn't have a good set of mediums to put him back on, and they would have to put him on softs or hards, which then loses you the race.
For sure. Yeah.
So, and that's what it kind of seemed like at the end, watching the interviews. It seemed like they didn't really have a choice.
Yeah. But, I mean, I feel like they're going to make it seem like that just because, but like when you look back at the race, like the Max like messes up his first pit stop. That's 2 seconds, which like for people that don't really watch F1, they might not understand, like 2 seconds is literally, it's so much. And like that could be the difference. That 2 seconds could be the difference of him reacting to Lewis's pit and them feeling more comfortable to pit once he did.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I thought it was shocking too that like right after Lewis's pit, Red Bull comes on the radio saying like, oh, it's just like Hungary 2019. Like they like admit, and I'm like, why don't you just do something different?
I know, they literally called it. They literally said it like, oh, maybe repeat of Hungary 19. Well, like, if you're thinking that already, I mean, you have to consider the pit. But I guess at the end of the day, there's a lot that goes into that strategy, and you might lose track position on a track that's hard to overtake. And then at the end of the day, like, I guess second place is really good points for the team. So if they can get like a really good qualifying result in Monaco, and Verstappen is to win that race, and they're right back in that championship race.
For sure. Maybe Perez could start on the first 2 rows. That would help too.
Maybe he could. That would help for the team.
It would be helpful for that constructors. Because I mean, Perez again, 4th race, and now it's he's not looking. I mean, he kind of looks a little more comfortable, but still not really, you know.
Yeah, I'd say he looks good, but not up to the standard of that Red Bull team. Like, they need him to be pushing for podiums every race.
Yeah,
for sure. That's the difference of like Mercedes being able to do that sort of strategy. If Perez is up there in 3rd or 4th, oh, for sure, Mercedes have to look up for 2 Red Bull cars. Instead, they just got Max. They're like, okay, let's just do whatever we want.
Exactly.
We got 2 strategies, and we could, regardless, we'll get the win.
Going back to Max just at the start, like his launch off the line again and his late braking into that first corner is what put him ahead. And I mean, he was about to take out Lewis, you know, essentially, if Lewis didn't back out of that. I mean, he kept his racing line, but Lewis had to hit the brakes there.
Yeah, it was awesome. I thought at first, like when you watch it live, you're like, you think that there's like had to have been contact. Like it was so shocking that there was none at all.
Man, it was inches.
Yeah, it was wicked.
Yeah,
I was so fired up.
And Valtteri again kind of sat in no man's land. I mean, he got outpaced by Charles there for the first stint, and what a great race by Charles and Ferrari.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome race. Yeah.
That was like, I would say that was probably their best race to date since they've like won a Grand Prix.
For sure. Yeah, Charles had great pace throughout the entire race.
He defended Bottas like for how many laps? Like almost like 30 laps maybe, or like 20 laps. And then even when he got past, he was right there the whole time. It's not like Bottas just like ran away.
No. Yeah, it's true.
So that was huge. I feel like
at the
Charles,
end of the day, like I think it was more like Bottas eventually passing Leclerc was a bit inevitable, let's say, because he has a superior car, but it was also the tire strategy too. Like Leclerc was on older tires, so he kind of got picked off.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought at one point of the race that Charles was going to be on the podium, to be totally honest. Like it's there, like you said, Jordan, it's like they're the closest they've been to like a podium. I don't think was like super unrealistic for them this weekend. It did seem like go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say they just needed to get lucky. Like if they just got a little bit
of luck,
then they're on the podium.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. So hopefully they carry that momentum into Monaco.
Definitely a strong weekend for that team.
Yeah, and you know that Charles is going to be giving it everything back home in Monaco.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be wild.
And he didn't get to race there last year either. So that's I think Ferrari could be strong just based off the fact that like Charles will be so hungry, and like I have a feeling he's gonna be in that top 5 again for qualifying, and he'll make those daring passes because he knows that he's been watching that track. I mean, everybody has, but he's been growing up watching it.
Yeah.
Forever. So even I remember last year or the year before, sorry, Charles didn't have the best qualifying. I can't exactly remember what happened, but he started way back in the pack and he was just like making passes. And then he ended up crashing because inevitably, if you push too hard on that track, you're going to hit something.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's crazy.
There's no room for error in Monaco. No. But Charles is a super exciting driver. Really, ever since he hopped into that Ferrari seat, he immediately started pushing Vettel and then kind of took over that number 1 seat. And now he's like still like, I don't want to say outperforming the car, but like he is pushing it to the limit and he's getting results that like his teammates haven't been.
Yeah, I think like he showcased that last year too. Yeah, he got like so much out of a really not that good car last year in Ferrari. Having like, did he have a podium last year? I don't think so. Maybe a 4th though. Like he was still up there in a car that like was hardly competing for like the bottom of the top 10 at some points.
Yep. Yeah. Totally. While we're on these top teams here, what did you think of that? Of Bottas not letting Lewis by so easily?
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. But I watched an interview with the two of them afterwards, and they like the interviewer obviously asked that question, and Lewis, I guess he didn't get that on the team radio, so he just assumed they were racing, and Bottas was he just said like we're on different strategies, and I wanted to let him by, but at the same time he was worried about Charles and Charles being in his pit window, so he was like we're racing, you're pushing. Yeah, exactly. He was like it was the best for my race, so obviously Lewis got by and like I don't know, still within a lap.
I don't think the two drivers or Toto or the team really thought too much of it. But if they were to say touch tires and spin out or crash into the wall, then it's a completely different story.
For sure. Yeah. I think based on the result, it was they're like, oh, it's fine. But
and unfortunately, that didn't happen because that would have made things very interesting.
So juicy. And have Charles P2, man.
That would have been something.
That would have been great. Max would be the leader of the championship. Well, life's good.
Yeah, I know. So we're in for, we kind of need Max to get a win here soon, or at least like a podium while Lewis doesn't get a podium, like for this championship battle to really, carry on and push through the year. I think we need that next week in Monaco.
Yeah, I think it's like crucial for like Red Bull's kind of like team morale for Perez and Max to have just like a knockout race next weekend.
And I would love to see them both.
Yeah, if you have Lewis win another one, then that's 3 in a row, and it's just like, okay, well, it's like I feel like you kind of start to doubt yourself, because it's like you're competing with them so closely, but you're obviously just making these tiny mistakes that is allowing them to win, and they just need to have like a really solid weekend.
Yeah, agreed. And I think they will. I mean, that chassis, it favors that track. So, or the track favors that track, whatever. And I think, Red Bull will have a really good quali. I think Danny, Rick, and Lando and the McLarens could have a good quali and a good race. It's just nice. It's like, it's nice that the straight line speed is not really the point of this race.
No,
you don't need that powerful car. You need something that can maneuver well and and drivers that are willing to like, take chances and kind of have a bit of a high risk race.
No, for sure. Yeah, I'm excited. I think, like you said, Red Bull, that car has always been suited to that track. Ricciardo has always really done well at that track. So I think quality is going to be so good in Monaco.
Yeah.
It feels like it's been so long since they've raced there, but I guess it's only been a year, but.
Well, it's been like 2 years now because they weren't there last year this time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it has been 2 years.
It has been 2 years. Yeah. Crazy.
Which feels like a while.
It does. I'm excited.
So what did you guys think of, let's just talk about McLaren quick. What did you think of their race? What do you think of Danny Rick's race?
I mean, it was nice to see him actually, 5th or 6th? 6th, I think he finished. Yeah. So it was good. I think overall they had a good weekend, and Lando just seemed to struggle a little bit, but I don't think that's too worrisome. I think when you're in that top 10 position on a track that's hard to overtake, there's not much. I don't know. He had a good race. I don't think there's much else he could have really done, to be honest.
Yeah, he's still scoring points, which after having a couple really good races, it's nice that he didn't just like dip down to like, 11th, 12th, 13th.
For sure.
That's huge.
The one thing I saw that was cool. Now after that weekend, I think Lando and Charles are separated by 1 point in the Drivers' Championship, and Daniel and Carlos are separated by like 2 points. So like that battle between McLaren and Ferrari, from a team standpoint and the driver standpoint, is shaping up to be really good.
Massive.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun seeing those guys go at it, because it seems like the Ferrari and Leclerc he's just being super consistent, and it'll be interesting to see how that is the battle for 3rd place.
For sure.
So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
How about your predicted driver of the day from last week, eh?
Not so good. No bueno.
Yeah.
No, my the Spanish king placed 17th.
Yeah, geez. Got over it. Yeah.
Behind Latifi, Giovinazzi.
The only people he would have finished in front of were the 2 Haases and the AlphaTauri, right?
Who got the old DNF.
Ouch.
Should we talk about Yuki? I feel like he's fiery, eh?
Oh yeah.
Yuki, everybody's talking about this guy. I love him, but he's pretty funny out there.
He's hilarious. Like the radio chat between him, the team's just like, Yuki, like, calm down. He's just so mad. And then his interview after quali, he just like totally spilled the beans on the team, saying like he doesn't think he has the same car, and it doesn't make any sense like why he's struggling so much, and Gasly is like doing well. Like he was just like, he totally threw the team under the bus, and I think that's just like he probably was not not in the good books after that.
Probably got put in the doghouse a little bit.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. He makes it exciting though. So I think
Yeah,
just give
at
him
the
some
end of
time
the
in the
day,
sport.
like you said, I guess he's like a pretty fiery driver and he's
Mm,
really young. So he's got
yeah,
a lot to learn, and part of like being a professional driver or an athlete in any sport is not just like how you perform in your sport, but it's also how you like handle yourself in all of the interviews and all
for
of
sure.
your like time away from the track or the game or whatever it
Yeah,
is.
no, absolutely. And I think that just like comes with time. I mean, for some, it might come naturally. Like when you look at like George Russell and like Lando coming into the sport, they are all pretty, I feel like they were all pretty level headed. I think Yuki is just like so passionate that he doesn't really know how to control or like diverse, like split between like what he should say and what he should just like not say to the media.
Yeah, absolutely. And he'll learn,
Yeah,
hopefully.
no, for sure.
English
Makes
is
it
also a
exciting.
second language, so that's
Yeah,
interesting too.
yeah, it is.
That's always a barrier.
No, for sure.
Okay, what about the other, like speaking of Alonso and the Alpine team, Ocon had a great weekend.
Esteban got his, what was it, his first points of the season, or has he finished in the
Esteban.
points?
He has finished in the points, maybe not.
Let's take a
Maybe
look.
not.
I thought
But
they had a way better quality than they did race.
yes, for sure.
Both Ocon and Alonso. Like Ocon qualified 5th, I believe, didn't he?
He did. So
His
he
best
did
quality
drop,
of the season.
yeah, so he did drop quite a few places.
Yeah,
I guess it's just nice to see them get some points for the first time of the year.
for sure. No, it's awesome.
Gasly got a point.
Yeah. Ooh.
Stroll is still pointless.
Yeah.
Aston Martin, super disappointing, man. 4 races in, and these guys still are not getting it together.
They stink, man.
They stink.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm not sure what happened. Maybe it was the change in livery, that forest green's not really working for them.
yeah, but
I
it
don't
looks
know.
so good on the track, man. I thought it was going to be like top 3 all the time.
They're not the pink Mercs of last season, that's for
No,
sure.
No, they're
but
yeah, go ahead.
I think they like really struggled with those slight changes, like in downforce and everything like that. Like, and I think it's just showcasing that the small changes that were made, I think affected Mercedes and them kind of the most, even though Mercedes is obviously still fine. But yeah, it's pretty strange. They're struggling for sure. I'm curious to see what will happen. Like if they have a season that just continues to go this way, there's going to be like some sort of personnel change, whether it's drivers, team principal, or whatever. Lance Stroll or Lawrence Stroll isn't going to put up with like a losing team.
Totally. And I am wondering, maybe they have invested. I mean, all these teams keep talking about like the investments they made into these new regulations with next year's car. And maybe they're betting pretty heavy on that.
Yeah.
Especially because like you kind of know that you're not like the way that Red Bull and well, how dominant Mercedes has been, and then how close Red Bull was to them compared to every other team. Like, I guess you kind of know that it's going to be tough to compete this year
for sure
with those top guys.
Yeah.
That's just giving them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they're just shit.
Yeah. Be sweet to see Hulkenberg and maybe in there for a race or so.
Oh, that'd be unreal. I miss seeing that guy. I don't know why.
Do you really think like next year when the regulations change that it's going to change things that much? Or do you think it'll probably be Mercedes, Red Bull, Ferrari again?
Is there like are they introducing like a salary cap of some sorts, or is that not really a thing?
I don't know. I know like honestly I have no idea, man.
Right. Maybe it's something to look into, but since like F1 is similar to like European football in the sense that like the richest clubs and the richest teams usually perform the best.
Right.
I don't know why like the Mercedes and Ferrari and Red Bull wouldn't be the top 3 teams still, and McLaren like pushing them and so on.
Right. Yeah. I think they have limited the amount of money you can spend, but that being said, at those like you said, those bigger teams are still, even though it's less, they're still going to be spending probably the most. I don't like as far as the race goes, there was the really only exciting thing was like Lewis's strategy. Do you guys like agree with that, or like there wasn't really anything else?
No, it was a fairly boring race. The strategy with the top guys made it interesting.
Yeah.
And it was a little disappointing to see how quickly Lewis caught up to him.
Oh, it was so sad.
Yeah.
You know,
I guess there was like some moments in the race, like, you know, Ferrari performing well, like Leclerc picking off Bottas
for sure
and defending him for the first half of the race, and then
Mm.
Sainz did well for the most part. It was kind of weird, like towards the last 10 laps or so, he was just getting really like picked off, like it was nothing.
Dude, he lost what?
Cars just flying by him.
Sainz.
Yeah, Sainz.
Yeah, well, he lost 2 positions for sure in the last, like, you know, handful of laps.
Yeah, he finished 7th in between Lando in 8th and Ricardo.
Yeah, right.
But did Lando have a penalty or something? Oh, never mind.
No.
Gasly had a penalty.
Gasly had a penalty. When you consider that, like Gasly had a really good race to have he had a 5-second penalty in his pit stop and then came out and still made points. So no, that's awesome.
Something you don't see very often either, that penalty, just for
it's very strange.
For like formation, I guess.
Yeah, but he was way over his box on the starting.
It's like clear as to why he got the penalty.
For sure.
And man, I always feel so bad for those guys and the whole team when they're stopped like that.
Yeah. Yeah, they can't do anything.
It just feels like forever.
Oh, it does, man. Yeah, it feels so long.
Just passing
by. They're just like staring at tires. How about that Alfa Romeo pit crew member that spotted the puncture on the tire? Did you guys see that?
That was
that was crazy.
That was wild. And then like everyone's like, "What's going on?" And he's just like, he's punching the tire.
Yeah,
that's a puncture.
I would love to hear that.
Yeah.
That was impressive because he goes
super impressive.
He goes out with that thing, and you're losing way more time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So was that with that wasn't with
that was Giovinazzi.
Yeah.
It definitely. In hindsight, I would have loved to see that tire get on. Giovinazzi, crash. Everything's fine. Safety car. Safety car. Max on a fresh set. Off into the distance.
Dude, victory. That race needed a safety car just to keep it alive.
For sure, man. Yeah. Well, it had that like the one at the very beginning, but no, I don't think really anyone came in and changed tires, but it was just stressful because it tightened everything up. Like
Max was on his way.
Oh man, it was like because after his first lap, he had a 1.5 gap, I think, but Lewis was just there the whole time. It was so stressful. Like that first stint was really exciting.
It was. Yeah,
just creeping back and forth. Like it was like Max would pull, and then Lewis would catch up, and then Max would just get him out of DRS. Yeah, it was like that whole time. That's so much pressure for from like Max's perspective.
Dude, crazy. And it's tough to even like, for the everyday person who's just watching, like to think about the energy consumption and like, conserving that, and then thinking about like the tires and going in and out of corners, and because they know exactly where and how they're wearing tires,
No, for sure. Yeah.
And when you're trying to defend and when you're trying to just keep him out of DRS, because if he gets into that DRS zone or range, then you're kind of you're hooped, because it gives you like an extra 20 kilometers an hour to just catch right up.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is nuts. Yeah. So that'll be nice nice and not nice, I guess. But Monaco, they have the one DRS zone, but it's like you hit it as you're coming out of that corner, and then it's a pretty short straight.
Yeah, it is pretty short.
So there's not too much passing that can kind of go on there. Man, it's going to be so cool to see the onboards in Monaco.
It's going to be awesome.
My favorite
qualifying, because they're fucking just giving her.
Yeah.
It's just nuts.
Qualifying in Monaco is like it's the best of the year. It's so good. Yeah,
I'm excited, and Max is just gonna tear it up. I know it.
Oh yeah, he can tell he's like starting to get frustrated, super frustrated. Like even the interviews after, like oh he's like, what do you want me to say? He's like, we're slow, we need a faster car.
Yeah.
And Lewis's interview answers are like so methodical and like genuine, and
I know.
he's like the whole team, the factory, everybody's doing great.
The women
and
and the
Max,
babies back
yeah,
home.
yeah, everyone love you so much. And then Max is just like, we need a faster car.
Yeah. He's
He's
also
a
like,
sitting duck. He called himself a sitting duck.
Yeah, he's like picking his hands. He's like, I don't know what you want me to say. We need a faster car.
we need to
So
fucking
bad.
put some Red Bull in the gas tank there. And
Yeah.
just
No
give it-
shit.
Yeah, I think I need a faster car's code names for like, I need Perez to get his shit together. I need,
Yeah.
we need no mistakes. We need to switch up the strategy.
Yeah, I know. He needs a good, like, he just needs some luck on strategy too. You know, I'm really hoping that they can pull that off soon.
Yeah, man. No, for sure.
Just
I
get
agree.
him, because I feel like every time Max wins, it's kind of more or less because Max is just fucking killing it driving.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
good.
Not
Yeah.
so much like I feel like Lewis clearly won because of the strategy today or yesterday.
For sure.
A couple of days
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
get-
definitely.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
because who knows if he would have if they would have stayed on the same strategy, I feel like Max could have kept them in that like 1 to 1.5 second range the entire race.
Yeah, I think exactly. I do
Mm.
feel like if they both went the distance on mediums, that it would have been it would have been a tight race. It would have been more exciting.
Yeah,
Little
no,
bit.
for sure. Yeah.
That's for sure. For the
So
fans.
who do we think podiums in Monaco?
I mean, it's really tough to say that it won't be Max, Hamilton, and Bottas.
A
Yeah,
little bit.
I think Charles is good enough there.
You think Charles will be? Yeah.
I think he's been building up his consistency, his confidence, the car. It's all working for him right now.
Hometown.
Totally.
boy.
Yeah. Yeah. I could see like Max, Hamilton, and Charles for sure. I would love to not see Hamilton up there, but
He's
feel
Charles
like
he's gonna pick off Bottas is what's gonna happen.
oh yeah. Yeah. See you later.
I feel like Hamilton is gonna hit a wall, get a puncture, something along those lines, and he's not going to be able to finish the race, or he's going to finish in that 5th to 12th spot.
It wouldn't be the worst thing, but I feel like that guy's a machine and he doesn't
I
fuck
know.
up ever.
Like, don't think it's going to happen either. Yeah. Like if you look at the back of the championship, the biggest mistake out of the between Red Bull and Mercedes was Hamilton kind of like hitting the wall in Imola, but then still getting out and finishing second.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. Like even when the dude does mess up, he still finishes second place.
Well, only time will tell, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, follow us.
YouTube, Spotify, Facebook,
You want
Instagram. Sorry.
And
Monarch
we
Sports
will,
Talk, F1, Monaco. Let's go.
we will see you next week for some deeper predictions into the Monaco GP.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.